Hey everyone, and welcome to my lesson about mocking. What is mocking? Mocking is the ability to create a fake object of something and return whatever you want to return with it. So you would mock the repository and the data access layers so that you remove that dependency from those objects for your unit test. So if you remember back at the unit test overview video, I was saying that you need to remove the dependency of your application to other systems or databases. So by using Moq, this is what allows you to do that. So we can utilize the Moq framework to mock our repositories. So this is how you would install the Moq framework. You would right click on your test project and you would select manage NuGet packages. Then from there you go to browse right here and then you look for MOQ for Moq and then click it and install it. So this is what it looks like, and then just hit install. And what this framework will do is it will help us in mocking our repository so that we don't depend on the database to validate our business logic. So we want to test our business logic, but we don't want to hit up our database in doing so because you want your test to be independent of your other systems. You want your test to test your code. So this is what your test class should look like with Moq. So it should have the Moq repositories declared up on top like so, and everything assigned in the test initialize function right here. And notice I'm not mocking the BLL class over here, like I'm not, declaring it as a mock, because that's a class that I want to test against, and that shouldn't be mocked. Like I don't want to fake that data. I want the code. I want the test to actually go through that code and hit up every single lines in order to test it. I don't want to mock that. What I do want to mock is the data from the database that's supposed to be, coming in and out. So that's why I'm mocking the repositories and not the BLL. So you can tell that I'm mocking the repositories again by using Moq and giving it the type of the repositories here like that. And then we create these mocks and specify the interfaces for them right here. So here you can also see that I am passing in for the BLL. I'm creating a new BLL, and I'm actually doing this as a class, not as an interface, because this is what I want to test. And then my order BLL class receives, using dependency injection, receives three interfaces: the order repository, the service repository, and the user repository. So because I want to send it mock interfaces, I make a mock of them, and then I specify those interfaces here by using the mock interface.object. And then I just specify it here, and now whenever I use order BLL, it's going to use these mock interfaces and not actually interact with the database. So here's an example of what a mocked test would look like. So here you can see that I'm testing the function get order. I'm making sure here that the total is going to be correct that it returns, and it's going to return me. I made a mistake here. Returns orders, but it should really be returns order, one order. So here I'm testing that the total for this order is correct, and the total is determined by the price of the services. So here I have price 4, price 6. So the total for this should be 10. Now, if the function ever changes of how it makes the total, this test will catch that. And then here I have some users. So take note right here of the setup. So this is still part of the arrangement. So from here all the way to here is part of the arrangement, right? I don't have that in the comments, but just know that. This right here, var ret, this line right here is part of the act. And then this right here is part of the assertion. So in my arrangement, you can see me setting up my objects, my mocked objects. And you can see here that I'm using the mock repositories, and I'm doing the mock repository dot setup, and then I'm doing x. So using lambda expressions, I'm using x, and then x dot get order, and then it dot is any, and then of type long, and then returns order. So it that is any means that like any value of that type can be passed into that function, and it would be accepted. So by me passing in 1 right here in the order function in the BLL, I'm passing in a long type, which is accepted within the get order in the Moq. So here I'm saying that whenever, for the order repository Moq, whenever the function of get order is executed and a long is passed into it, I want it to return order. So I want it to return this order right here. Now it's not going to do any of the functions or anything within this repository whenever that get order gets called from the repository. It's just simply going to skip everything and return order this. Same thing here. So services repository moq.setup. I'm setting it up so whenever this function get order services gets executed and it gets passed in a list of longs, it will return this order services right here. And then same thing for the user repository. So whenever the BLL calls this user repository and then it calls a function within it that called get users, it's going to return this specific list of users. So what's going to happen here is that then after this happens, it's going to execute get order, the BLL's get order function, and it's going to execute a few of these things, and I'll show you guys here in a sec. And then after that's done, it's going to do an assertion to make sure that the return value is not null, and to make sure that the total is 10, and that it added these two numbers correctly. So let's take a look at our function here. So here you can see the BLL's get order function returns an order, and it gets a long of order ID. So here you can see also that the order BLL is utilizing the order repository, and it's using the function get order, and then it's passing in an order ID. But since we are mocking this repository, since we are doing this and we're setting it up and we're saying whenever order repository.getOrder, so whenever order repository.getOrder gets called, return this order right here. So it's going to return this order right here. So now this is going to be equal to that order. It's not going to be null. And then it's going to execute this function, which is associate services with orders, which is going to call this repository right here, and this function within that repository, the get order services. And it's going to return a mocked list of objects. And then it's going to assign those services to this order. And then it's going to run this function. So now we have an order full of services associated to it, because that was the business logic behind this function. And then associate users with order is going to also call the users repository. It's going to get a list of users. And it's going to assign those list of users to the order. And then it's going to return the order. So then by the time that it executes this and it gets to the assertions, this order right here that's blank, that just has ID and order ID, ordered by ID associated to it, is going to have, due to it going through that business logic of the order BLL.getOrder, it's now going to be populated with this mocked data, with these mocked services. It's going to have these services, and it's going to have this user associated to it as well. And then it's going to return true, and yeah. So that's about it. So if you guys, if this helped and you guys like this video, hit the thumbs up button, and don't forget to hit subscribe to get informed of whenever new content comes out. All right, everyone, have a good day. Bye.